welcome to City Clips. I'm Jane Vice-Assessa, your city manager. September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and the city of Berkeley is participating in an effort called Turn the Towns Teal. This is an informational campaign to inform the public about ovarian cancer and its symptoms. Referred to as the silent disease, ovarian cancer affects thousands of American women. But if it's detected early, the survival rate is about 95%. Joining me today to discuss this important health issue is Marcia Gershi, coordinator for Turn the Town Teal's campaign. Welcome, Marcia. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you for having us.
Well, you know, let's get started by asking, again, I called my infamous tough questions. So how did you get involved in this type of campaign?
Well, I'm an almost 12-year survivor of ovarian cancer, and I'm one of the fortunate ones. I have not had a recurrence. I was diagnosed in December of 2000, and I'm a member of the Beaumont 1-to-1 Ovarian Cancer Support Group, and also a member of the Michigan Ovarian Cancer Alliance. And the Michigan Ovarian Cancer Alliance is in conjunction with Turn the Towns Teal, which is a national organization, are sponsoring the campaign to bring awareness of ovarian cancer to women throughout the country, because if, as you said, ovarian cancer is detected at an early stage, it is fairly curable. And we're just losing too many women to this disease.
Okay. You know, the campaign, what exactly is going to be involved as we turn our town teals? What does that mean?
Well, what we're hoping to do is tie some teal-colored ribbons to the lampposts throughout Berkeley, down 12 Mile and part of Coolidge. And we also have some signs that we'd like to put up in some of the area stores. We have some awareness brochures and symptoms cards, which will be placed in different places, some of the city offices and the library.
Oh, that'd be great. So if people want to come, they can just go to our library and our city hall and they can get this information.
Exactly.
Excellent.
And even possibly some of the stores will allow us to leave them on their counters.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, you know, as we've been saying, this is known as a silent disease. Can you tell us what are some of the common symptoms?
Yes, it's known as a silent disease, but it's really not silent. The symptoms sort of whisper, they're there, we just don't actually listen to them. The most common symptoms are pelvic and abdominal pain, difficulty eating, abdominal swelling and bloating, and different things like that, which are very easily associated with other diseases. Mm-hmm. So it's very understandable that physicians and women miss the diagnosis because they're not thinking of ovarian cancer.
Well, you know, the symptoms that you mentioned sound like just everyday type of symptoms. I mean, I can have a stomach ache, or I can, you know, feel nauseous or whatever. I mean, so as I'm listening to this report, and again, like I said, they sound like everyday type of symptoms. What is there some type of signal that would say to me, oh, you know, I should go see a doctor? I mean, is there a length or time where I need to say, I need to go see a doctor?
Yes, there definitely is, because like you said, these are common symptoms. Many of us have these symptoms throughout our lifetime, but if it's something that's unusual for you and it's persistent for more than 2 weeks, you need to have it checked out. And if you do go to your physician, you should insist on having a three tests. The 3 tests are a pelvic rectal exam, a transvaginal ultrasound, and a blood test called the CA-125. And that way, if by some chance it would happen to turn out that it would be ovarian cancer, it could be detected in the early stages, and it could possibly save your life.
You know, again, because the symptoms sound, you know, just like everyday type of occurrences, so I'll go to my doctor and I'll ask them to, you know, maybe consider doing these types of tests. Is there anything else that could perhaps I should tell the doctor that would help him to give him some more signals as to, yes, I do need these tests, or can I just demand and say, I need you to do these tests?
Well, I think that if you have any of the risk factors of ovarian cancer, there's always that to consider. But basically, You need to just know your own body. And if there's something going on with your body that isn't right and it's persistent, I'm not saying you have it one day and then you don't have it for 3 more days, but if you have something that's going on persistent for any length of time, you need to consider ovarian cancer as a diagnosis. Like in my case, I had difficulty eating. I just attribute it to stress or whatever in my life, and that is something that I should have, I knew that was not normal for me. But if you have any of the risk factors of ovarian cancer, which are, which I really didn't have, but risk factors are a family member with a personal.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you a little bit. You mentioned that perhaps there might be some other things that you should look at, particularly your family's health history. So
right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, risk factors are a personal or family history of breast, ovarian, or colon cancer. A woman who is of European, Eastern European, or Ashkenazi Jewish descent has a higher risk of carrying the BRCA1 or BRCA2 gene mutation. The more menstrual cycles a woman has, the higher her risk of having ovarian cancer.
Wow.
So in other words, if she's never had a pregnancy, she's at a higher risk for ovarian cancer. If she started her period at a very young age, like before the age of 12, she's at a higher risk. If she has her first child after the age of 30, she's at a greater risk. Or if she began menopause after the age of 50, at a greater risk.
Now, is there anything we can do as women to prevent this type of disease?
I don't really think there's anything we can do other than be aware and know your own body and be proactive. And if you have these symptoms that are, any of these symptoms that are persistent, and you feel that it's something that is not right for you and it's persistent for more than 2 weeks, you need to go to your doctor and say, this is not right. And if your doctor sloughs you off, then you need to find a doctor who will listen to you. There are doctors who will listen to you. And another thing that's important to know, Jane, is that a Pap test does not detect ovarian cancer.
That was going to be one of my questions.
That's
yes.
a misconception that a lot of people
Okay.
have. So it's important to know that, and you just have to be your own advocate. And just because you have these symptoms, even if you were to have every one of these symptoms, it doesn't mean you have ovarian cancer,
Mm-hmm.
but you could have a cyst or something, and it's important to have this stuff checked out.
It
And
is.
just because you're a woman and you're used to feeling tired and nauseous and bloated, it doesn't mean you should feel that way. So you
Correct.
need to take care of yourself and just be your own advocate.
Well, Marcia, I want you to think that, well, I think you're amazing for doing this, number one. I admire your courage to come out and share your story and go out there and just inform the public. So I think you're amazing.
Well, I want to
thank you so
thank
much.
you so much. And the city of Berkeley has been so receptive to us, and I
that's
can't
excellent.
thank you enough for having us. And I think that you will be surprised that the number of people that there may be someone whose life is saved by this, and if so, we owe it to you, and thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much. Now, my last question to you is this. So,
Yes.
I know that we're going to have the ribbons all over through our town,
Right.
and there'll be information that people can get either at the stores or at City Hall or at the library. But how else can people get more information about this important disease?
Well, there's a number of ways, but probably one of the best ways is to contact the Michigan Ovarian Cancer Alliance, and you can do that by going to their website, which is it's called MIOCA, MIOCA.org. And on that website, there's also information if there's someone who's already has ovarian cancer. There's information about ovarian cancer, about different events, about the Beaumont 1-to-1 Ovarian Cancer Support Group. And there's also numerous ways by going through the American Cancer Society. There's many, many ways, but if you go to mioca.org, which is MIOCA, you could get all the information I think that you need. But
Thank you.
just be your own advocate. That's the best thing that I can say.
Thank you for sharing again. I think these are all important symptoms, and is an important issue to women everywhere. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Jane. Thanks for having us.
Thanks again. Thank you. Again, I'd like to thank Marsha Gershi for that incredible story and for providing us with such important information. And now I want to introduce you to Jolene Bowditch. She's an ovarian cancer survivor, and this is her story.
My name is Jolene Bowditch. I was diagnosed in July of 2010. I went to my doctor because I had some severe abdominal pain, and I'd been having a few other symptoms, and every single test came back negative. All the physical tests that they do said that I was perfectly healthy, but I didn't feel healthy. I had some severe abdominal pain. I had some other things that I did not think were anything special because of my previous health history. I had some trouble breathing, but I had a history of asthma. And it was spring, and the pollen was out. So I didn't recognize that as a symptom of cancer. My doctor is a woman doctor and an internist. And when I first went in with severe lower abdominal pain, she immediately put me on an antibiotic and sent me for a test. She gave me an exam, but she also sent me for a transvaginal ultrasound. But she was suspecting either a urinary problem or a digestive problem, some kind of an infection or something like that. As soon as my doctor received the results, I think it was 2 mornings later, she called me bright and early in the morning and she said, "You need to go have this test right now." And she told me to make an appointment with a gynecologic oncologist. And I sort of knew then, even though she didn't say it, but you know what oncology is. So I knew that the results of that first test were probably not good. Within an hour or an hour and a half, my oncologist's office called back and said, this was a Friday afternoon, mind you, he said, "I want you to be here Monday morning," and gave me a time. And he pointed out different areas on the screen and told me what they were, like this is a cyst and we don't worry about that, but this fleshy area doesn't look good. And he said it's probably either stage 3 or stage 4. So he sent me right down for a CT scan, and he said, "Be back in my office tomorrow morning." So we were back the next day, which was a Tuesday, and he said, "We got the test back. It's exactly what we expected. It's stage 3 or stage 4, and the next day I had the surgery. And they do what they call a debulking surgery, which means they open you up and they remove tumors. I ended up spending 11 days in the hospital, and then my doctor also determined that before I left I needed a medical port to get the chemotherapy. After I got out of the hospital, I saw my doctor, and then I began 18 weeks of chemotherapy. I finished that in the end of November of 2010. The doctors and the nurses, my doctor was wonderful. All of the staff at the medical short stay where I had the chemotherapy, they were wonderful. And then, it's taken quite a while to get my strength back. I'm still not 100%, but then I'm not 20 anymore either. Some of my friends think I'm a miracle. So, and I thank God for that. But it's very important that you let people know.
Thank you, Marsha, and thank you, Jolene, for sharing your stories. You can get more information about the warning signs of ovarian cancer on Turn the Town Teal's campaign website at www.turnthetownteals.org. I'm Jane Baisesesa. Thank you for watching City Clips.